They chuckled as 10-year-old Daisy Whitmore, smeared in grease and donning her late father's baggy overalls, playfully pretended to repair the billionaire's stranded jet. For them, it was merely a jest, a young one engaging in fanciful play upon an opulent catwalk. Yet when the CEO caught sight of the delicate silver pilot wing necklace adorning her neck, time seemed to freeze. His laughter disappeared. His hands started to shake, because that necklace was tied to a name that lingered in silence. What transpired next hushed every spirit on the tarmac. Before we dive in, please give this video a thumbs up and let us know your location in the comments. Your support enables us to share even more impactful narratives. Let us commence. Amidst the laughter, 10-year-old Daisy Whitmore, clad in her late father's oversized overalls and smeared with grease, playfully pretended to repair the billionaire's stranded jet. For them, it was merely a jest, a young one indulging in fantasy, upon a lavish catwalk. Yet when the CEO caught sight of the delicate silver pilot wing necklace adorning her neck, time seemed to freeze. His laughter disappeared. His hands started to shake, because that necklace was tied to a name that lingered in silence. The events that unfolded next left every person on the tarmac in stunned silence. The sun bathed Westlake Executive Airfield. In a warm golden glow typical of a Texas morning, the sun illuminated the gleaming runway, as though the heavens themselves were observing the scene. A Falcon Z-8 jet, gleaming and aerodynamic, valued at nearly $70 million, rested in complete silence on the runway. It possessed strength. The illumination was present, yet the engine remained unyielding. Ground personnel hurriedly mobilized. Diagnostics were conducted by the technicians. Frustration ignited rapidly. At the heart of it all stood Marshall Aldridge, a self-made billionaire and the driving force behind Aldridge Technologies. He stood confidently in a sleek graphite suit, his silver tie fastened impeccably, his hair styled to perfection, yet his gaze was tumultuous. He had an appointment with a defense contractor in Virginia set for noon. His routine remained constant. Delays were intolerable. Beside Hangar 6, a young girl rested against a toolbox. Daisy Whitmore. Her knees were covered in dust, her face marked with streaks of motor oil, and in her hand she held a wrench that seemed almost too large for her fingers. She was the daughter of Joel Whitmore, a former Air Force mechanic celebrated as the finest aircraft mind in Texas, until the accident changed everything. Joel had departed now. Yet each weekend and every evening, Daisy observed, learned, and absorbed everything around her. She possessed an innate talent for understanding engines. She sensed the uncertainty in a turbine, as others might perceive off notes in a melody, yet it went unnoticed by everyone around her. To the hurried gentlemen in tailored suits and the distinguished group adorned in embroidered jackets, she went unnoticed. And then it occurred. While Marshall commanded with authority, Daisy meandered over to the stationary jet. The delicate sound of her small boots resonated gently against the concrete surface. She faced no obstacles. They perceived her as innocent, inquisitive, whimsical. She knelt next to the exposed engine compartment, lightly tapped some wires with her wrench, and then carefully reached up to turn a knob she had observed her father manipulate countless times in the past. The cabin's lights flickered softly. A crisp, deep resonance pulsed through the frame of the aircraft. The technicians came to a halt. Marshall pivoted. The ground crew ceased their laughter. Then, something even more astonishing captured his attention. Hanging delicately from Daisy's neck was a small weathered silver necklace, featuring a pair of tiny pilot wings etched with a solitary initial. J. Marshall's complexion faded to a ghostly hue. He advanced cautiously, his gaze fixed on the necklace. His voice, steady and authoritative, faltered as he inquired, "Where did you acquire that?" Daisy blinked, cradling the necklace delicately in her palm. "It belonged to my dad." It was a constant companion during his flights. Marshall remained silent. He simply gazed, immobilized, for those wings were unlike any he had ever seen. These were unique Air Force wings, crafted specifically for a singular occasion, never to be replicated. Before him stood the daughter of the man who had rescued Marshall Aldridge 16 years prior from a fiery cockpit at 35,000 feet. The name of her father, Joel Whitmore, had remained etched in Marshall's memory, and now she was here, feigning to repair a jet. Yet Marshall had ceased to find humor in the situation. He found himself lost in memories, and a transformation loomed on the horizon. The palpable tension in the atmosphere was undeniable. Marshall Aldridge's gaze explored Daisy Whitmore's delicate features, seeking insights that transcended mere language. The throng that once buzzed with life had quieted, the familiar clamor giving way to an intense tranquility. This young girl, once a source of playful mischief just moments ago, now bore the unexpected burden of a legacy that had long been buried. Marshall's thoughts wandered to that pivotal day, 16 years prior, the day when Joel Whitmore had put everything on the line to rescue him. The collision was catastrophic. The flames engulfed the fuselage, and as the aircraft descended rapidly, Joel's composure in the face of adversity was the sole factor preserving Marshall's life. Joel's bravery transcended the expectations of his role. Yet after that day, Joel had disappeared from Marshall's life without a single clue. There were no calls, no visits, just memories lingering in the air and a delicate silver-winged pendant, the exact one Daisy now adorned. "Your father was an extraordinary man," Marshall said softly, his voice laden with feeling. "He rescued me from despair. He has my utmost gratitude." Daisy's eyes grew large with surprise. She had listened to tales of her father's courage, yet never from the very person whose life he had rescued. For the first time she sensed the profound significance of her lineage resting heavily upon her shoulders. Joel transcended the roles of a mere mechanic or pilot. He was a champion. Marshall inhaled deeply and cast a look at the technicians who remained fixated on the jet, anticipating its ignition. "If you would be so kind, young lady, might you demonstrate once more what you just accomplished?" Daisy nodded, with a hint of shyness, and stepped back toward the engine. Her hands unwavering in the face of unexpected attention, she meticulously scrutinized the wiring, her fingers gliding over the circuits her father had once guided her to comprehend. The atmosphere thickened with anticipation as the engine stayed eerily quiet. She lifted her hand, fine-tuned a fragile valve, and twisted the wrench with a practiced ease. The aircraft systems pulsed with intermittent light, and gradually, a profound rumble started to resonate through the atmosphere. The control panel flickered to life with a series of blinking lights. The engines hummed, vibrant and full of life, again. Cheers erupted. The technicians shared looks of astonishment. Marshall's gaze remained fixed on Daisy, a sense of honor, wonder, and an underlying emotion. A glimmer of hope sparkled in his eyes. The repairs extended beyond the jet itself. A profound restoration had taken place. A connection, a commitment, a heritage bequeathed from parent to child, now recognized by the individual who owes his existence to the bravery of that parent. Yet, the tale had only just begun. Marshall advanced and delved into his pocket. He retrieved a creased sheet of paper and passed it to Daisy. "This is a letter your father penned before he vanished. I've guarded it closely throughout the years. It contains solutions and maybe a destiny." Daisy gently opened the paper, her heart racing with anticipation. The text revealed whispers of hidden truths, deep sacrifices, and a quest that Joel had concealed from all, even from his own daughter. The crowd drew nearer, feeling that they were not merely observing a jet being repaired, but the inception of a narrative that would alter the course of everything. Marshall's voice lowered, rich and captivating, drawing listeners in with an almost mesmerizing quality. "Daisy, you have received more than just a necklace or a skill. A destiny has been passed down to you. Now is the moment to grasp it and determine your course of action regarding it." The sky above Westlake Executive Airfield remained pristine, yet it now pulsed with a sense of potential. All eyes were fixed on Daisy, anticipating her next action. The atmosphere was thick with tension, the sort that seizes one's spirit and holds it captive. This marked a pivotal moment, the instant when a young girl's imagination transformed into a formidable reality that would alter her destiny and disrupt the very core of a billionaire's empire. The audience, much like the throng on the tarmac, was entranced, unable to tear their gaze away. The paper quivered gently in Daisy Whitmore's delicate hands as she gazed at the worn ink of the letter. Each word drew her further into a narrative she had only caught glimpses of through fragments and whispers during her upbringing. Joel Whitmore was not just a mechanic. He had been involved in a covert operation that transcended the realm of mere engine repairs or private jet upkeep. The correspondence conveyed a sense of peril, fidelity, and a vow that had tethered him to Marshall Aldridge eternally. Marshall observed her intently, his gaze brimming with admiration and silent inquiries. "Your father wished for you to understand the truth," he murmured gently. "He vanished to shield you, and the knowledge he possessed, it was never secure for him to remain exposed." Daisy's breath hitched. Her reality was transforming around her. The figure who had previously existed only as a far-off champion in tales was now uncovering the true cause of his long absence. It was a sacrifice she had only now begun to comprehend. The airfield was now still. The distant hum of the jet engines faded into the background as the crowd held its breath in anticipation. This had transformed into something far more complex than just a tale of a girl repairing an aircraft, a tale woven with bravery, concealed perils, and an unspoken bond that transcended generations. Marshall moved in, his tone steady yet soothing. "Daisy, your father was battling against forces that jeopardized all we believe in. His efforts preserved innumerable lives, yet they also rendered him vulnerable to threats. He disappeared to safeguard you and the future he envisioned you could create." Daisy gazed up at him, her eyes both wide and unwavering. "Could you clarify what you mean? What should I do now?" Marshall offered a subtle smile, his face reflecting a blend of melancholy and optimism. "You possess more strength than you understand. The abilities you possess, the passion you carry, the thoughts you nurture, these are the instruments your father entrusted to you. Now is the moment to emerge from the darkness and embrace the illumination, to continue the journey he began." A whisper of disbelief rippled through the assembly. Some murmured about the hidden existence of Joel Whitmore, while others gazed at Daisy as though encountering her anew. Daisy experienced an unusual tranquility enveloping her. For years, she had envisioned herself mirroring her father, yet now she grasped the gravity of that aspiration. It transcended mere repairs of machines or the act of piloting jets. The essence lay in the weight of responsibility, the bravery to face challenges, and the pivotal choices that would shape her destiny. Marshall presented her with a small, weathered, black case, securely locked. "Within these pages lies all you require to embark on your journey. Your father had faith in me to safeguard it until you were prepared." Daisy's fingers grazed the case, and a flicker of resolve flared within her. The girl who had once imagined herself on the runway was on the verge of becoming an undeniable presence. As she unveiled the case, the audience edged forward, the tension escalating with each fleeting moment. Within lay blueprints, documents, and a device that was truly one of a kind, captivating Daisy's imagination. It served as a gateway to a realm she had only recently started to grasp. Marshall's voice dropped to a soft murmur. "The path ahead will be challenging. Obstacles will arise, adversaries will confront you, and there will be times when surrender seems tempting. Keep this in mind. Your father always persevered, nor should you." Daisy gazed over the tarmac, the jet purring gently behind her, the sky stretching vast and infinite overhead. The horizon unfolded ahead of her, a blend of doubt and potential, and somewhere deep within she sensed that this was merely the start. The tale had only just begun. The covert operation initiated by her father now rested in her hands, with the eyes of the world upon her. The audience was spellbound, ensnared by a narrative that had evolved from a mere performance into a grand saga of heritage, bravery, and fate. As Daisy Whitmore grasped the black case, time itself appeared to stand still. The sun shimmered on the sleek surface of the private jet positioned behind her, yet all eyes were drawn to the silent resolve reflected in her gaze. This was no longer a mere child tinkering with machines. She stood on the brink of a fate, meticulously shaped by her father's hidden struggles, veiled truths, and profound sacrifices. The audience, initially doubtful and entertained, now observed. With increasing admiration and wonder, Marshal Aldridge's voice pierced the stillness. "Daisy, your father's mission surpassed anything we ever envisioned. This endeavor demands more than mere talent. It demands bravery, insight, and compassion." Their eyes met in a captivating moment. "Are you prepared to confront what he has bequeathed?" Daisy swallowed hard, her resolve evident as she nodded with determination. The moment bore down on her, heavy and profound, yet it infused her with resilience. The small hands that once trembled now grasped a legacy poised to transform everything. This was her opportunity to pay tribute to her father's sacrifices and demonstrate that bravery manifests in various ways. Taking a calm breath, she unlatched the case. Within lay schematics, coded documents, and a gadget that appeared to surpass anything she had encountered before. A tiny display sprang to life, showcasing a note from her father. Joel Whitmore's voice resonated through the space, a blend of tranquility and pressing intensity. "Daisy, should you be listening to this, it means you have uncovered the reality. There is a wealth of knowledge yet to be uncovered, but you must have faith in your own instincts. The complexities of the world often elude our understanding. Hidden powers are at play, and it falls upon you to sustain the glow. Make the most of what I have entrusted to you." The communication concluded, yet its influence remained palpable. Daisy's heart raced with intensity. The whimsical act of pretending to repair a jet had transformed into a grave undertaking that demanded all of her resources and beyond. She had transcended the role of merely being Joel's daughter. She embodied his legacy. Marshall took a step back, gesturing for the technicians to create some distance. Soft murmurs floated through the gathering. The billionaire's appreciation was evident, yet the gravity of the challenge loomed large. It was clear to all that this situation had evolved beyond just a straightforward repair task. This centered on bravery, faith, and a destiny that Daisy would mold. A sudden noise broke the silence. A group of men clad in dark suits made their way to the tarmac, their faces marked by a sense of urgency and seriousness. Marshall's expression grew tense. "This marks the start of the journey ahead. The adversaries of your father still remember. They will remember you always." Daisy's thoughts surged, yet her determination grew stronger. She stood poised, prepared to confront whatever lay ahead. The path ahead promised to be perilous, full of surprises and draining, yet it belonged to her alone. The sleek private jet purred softly, poised for another ascent into the skies. Yet at this moment the true adventure was only starting to unfold. It unfolded as a tale of heritage, bravery, and the strength of a young girl who had the audacity to venture beyond the mundane. As the sun sank beneath the horizon, Daisy Whitmore gazed forward with unwavering resolve. She was certain that success was inevitable. All eyes were on the unfolding narrative, and the tale had only just begun. On this runway, the intrigue, the peril, and the promise had converged into one moment. A modest gesture had unveiled a heritage. A young girl emerged as a beacon of resilience, with the narrative of her future waiting to be crafted. The crowd was captivated, their pulses aligning with the story as it unfolded before them. All eyes were drawn inescapably. The narrative reached its conclusion, yet it held the potential for infinite adventures ahead. This embodied the strength of heritage, bravery, and an indomitable will.